Everyone, it is Friday. I did not do anything yesterday that I was supposed to. I pulled my orders, but I didn't pack my orders for yesterday. I pulled them late yesterday, so I didn't have to pull so much today. But I probably got like 12 items that were supposed to be shipped out yesterday that did not get shipped out. So we're looking at a total of 28 items that I need to pack up here today that I've pulled. Looking at about like almost $700 worth of sales going out here total. Let's see, one of the newer CDs. I'm on a 30-day CD listing streak. This is from day one. I think I'm on day today will be day 6, I believe, of 30 days of listing CDs. This sold for $5.99. This is a Time Life. Like I said, you always want to see that Time Life. Always does really good. Singers and songwriters from the 1975 to 1979 2-disc collection. It's got a lot of really good stuff in here. A lot of Fleetwood Mac, Olivia Newton-John, Commodores, Firefall, just to name a few. So that sold fairly quickly after being listed. This is a piece that's been listed for a hot minute. Looks like it must have just gotten marked down because it sold for $8.99, which I probably had this started out at $9.99. It is Princess of Power, She-Ra, hardcover storybook, sold for $8.99. Next item. Some of these, I already got these kind of wrapped. I'll have to probably unwrap these just because I don't like glass on glass. These are glass votive candle holders with a little peg down here, kind of like Homeco or what's the other one where you'd have parties to sell home interiors, home interior parties back in the 80s and 90s probably. This sold for $12.14, but again, I just had them saran wrapped together to keep them together, but I won't ship them like this because they will become very fragile. Next is a collector's plate. For whatever reason, we got a whole table full of these collector plates, and they were all like, no. This came from a storage unit Jen bought. And the lady had 2 of every one of these Titanic plates. So apparently in the night, I guess probably around the time of that Titanic movie. Yeah, 1999 Bradford Exchange. Everybody was obsessed with Titanic. They made these collector plates. And for whatever reason, the lady had 2 sets of these in her storage unit. And I was like, oh, we'll list these just to see, I know everybody always says these do not sell, these do not sell. Funny thing is when that we actually had we listed it and like over half of them sold right away, and then nothing forever, and then all of a sudden that submarine exploded, and I sold a whole bunch more, and then I was going through my shelf the other day, and I found for some reason like 3 or 4 of these were unlisted. So I got in there and relisted them, and this one sold. And it sold for $5.90. Let's see. I sold a little dog pen. I don't know what kind of dog this is. It says it's a Samoyed sled dog. Sold for $5.90, almost $6. This, man, I tell you, Linux sells really good. I don't like Linux as far as stuff, but it sells fairly well. This is a wedding, a groom and bride. Maybe it's like used for a cake topper or some kind of decoration, I guess. For wedding stuff, I'm always afraid it's gonna get broken too. So another thing, but this sold right away. It sold before I even got to put it away out there. It sold for $49.99. Another type of CD to sell is Best Of. This is Best of the Animals. I can't believe that they actually have enough for a Best Of album, but they got 15 songs on there. That sold for $5.99. It is another recent one, but not from my current listings. This is a copper bowl, or I don't know what you want to call it, and it comes with a ladle. I already have it wrapped up just so I didn't lose all the pieces. They're all together. It's copper clad. I guess it has a little bit, yeah, it has a pour spout with a ladle. 6 inches by 5 inches deep. I took a best offer. I think I've had this listed for a while. I did want to get a couple more dollars out of it, but at this point it's like some of this stuff, it's just you get a buyer on the hook. I didn't want to scare them off, so I just went ahead. Am I going to squabble over a $2 difference? I think they wanted $4 off. I could have countered and tried to see if they would have come up $2 more, but I mean at this point I really wanted the space on my shelving, so I went ahead and let it go for $14. Probably worth more than that just in scrap copper. I don't know what copper's going for right now. Maybe not. It's pretty heavy. Probably like 3 pounds. This is another unique piece that sold rather quickly. I don't know exactly where this came from. This is a wall mount kitchen coffee grinder, I guess. I don't know how it'd be a coffee grinder. Where does the coffee come out? Oh, I guess it comes out down here. So I guess you would have mounted it, would have been mounted on the wall. I don't know. This is how we got it, and in the condition that it's in, it says it's patented 1880. Sold for $30. Another CD here. This is another one that I've listed in my 30 days. This is Do You Love Me? R&B. Sold for $5.99. I love this style of glass where it's got that oil slick, pearl luster to it. I'm not a fan of this pattern though. It's like the grape and leaves pattern. I don't really desire this. This is probably something you probably would have put potpourri. I don't know where you're from and how you pronounce that word. But this is Dugan. It's sold for $14.24. So looks like I might have sent an offer out because I don't think I've had that listed for very long. This is Phyllis Hyman, Under Her Spell. Greatest hits again. That sold for $3.93. Another Pyrex lid here. This is a kind of a deeper lid, not just a flat lid with the double handles. This sold for $9.99. I bought a whole table full of Pyrex lids at auction one time for like $10. And I'm pretty sure that's probably where that came from. And it sat unlisted for the longest time. And then I finally dug it out of my shed, and I'm like, I need to get these listed because these are going to sell. And most of them did. I think that was like one of the last ones. I was at an estate sale one time where there was a whole bunch of Gone with the Wind stuff, and I bought for super cheap. And so I had bought these, and they sold right away. So when I was at auction the other day, I seen these again, and I'm like, oh, they sold relatively fast for me. I'm going to buy them again. So I actually just listed these, and they sold again. These are, I don't know what you call them. I guess this lady back in these were huge in 1995, 96, where she made historic buildings and kind of 3D but flat. They call it shelf sitters, but these are all of the houses of from Gone with the Wind. There's three of them I have in here. They all sold for $20, and I think I paid $5 for the whole box, maybe. So it was sold fast again. So, some of the stuff I probably would have like I said, I only picked them up at the estate sale because I think they were $1 or $1 a piece for them. It was like the last day of the estate sale, and they were just sitting there stuck above a doorway, and her gone from the wind room. This is a starting lineup. Most starting lineups are not worth much money at all. Definitely not worth listing online. But for whatever reason, we'll take them to the auction house, and people gobble them up like crazy for about $3 a piece. I guess they like to put them in their antique booths or reseller booths, and I guess they draw people in. But selling them online, very, very few of them are worth anything. I sold a couple Michael Jordan ones the other day, but those weren't starting lineup, but they were starting lineup like, I guess. This is Dennis Rodman with his red hair. This one is actually worth listing. Sold for $14.99. Let's see. I sold cast iron. This one is funky because it is shaped like an ear of corn with a little hair on it. This particular one is super heavy. It is cast in the United States by John Wright in 1995. All that is stamped on here. This sold for $22.49. That one's one I picked up. It wasn't really worth a lot, but I didn't have to do really any cleaning to it. So I was like, since I ain't got to clean it, I'm going to go ahead and list it. I sold a copy of a Waxwork with a Waxwork 2 on here. This sold for $9.99. Flirting with Disaster. This is some Southern rock classics. 17 songs on this one. For a collection. That's got quite a lot of songs. A lot of your collections don't have that many, unless it's a double disc. Some lipstick. I think this came out of one of our recent storage units. $14.99. Fashion Fair Allure. Brand new. I just got flagged on some makeup the other day by eBay's AI saying that I can't sell used makeup, and I'm like, it's not used, it's new. Everything, and I went to appeal it, and they said you can't. We stand by our thing. I'm like, I'm looking at it. I listed it as new. The pictures show it new, so I don't know. Wasn't even gonna argue. It was like a $9 thing of makeup, so it is what it is. It's not like I probably came out of a storage unit anyway. So, $50 here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things of pantyhose. I picked these up at the thrift store. I don't go thrift store shopping very often, but one time Jen was at a doctor's office and we were near a thrift store and I wanted to check it out, and I found these. I've already sold a batch right away. These, I think I probably just dropped the price on them again, so they probably came back up on the top of the list. These are all Japanese. You can see all the Japanese writing, but I find it funny that the models are all white women, even though all the pantyhose are men. Yeah, you can see that they. I think one of them, all the prices are there. I think one of them has the prices of yen. But I found it very comical finding these at the thrift store. Yeah, this is a price tag with 32 yen. So those sold all new old stock. It's just weird to seeing those things, and they sell to guys. They went to a man. It says a repeat buyer. I don't know if he bought the last batch or whatever, but I mean, I paid for 2 bags that were full of these pantyhose. I think I paid $5 or maybe $3. somewhere between $5 and $10 for all of it. And I've already, the first batch, I think I sold about 7 different things, so probably about $70, $50 into this batch, and then I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, about 7 more packages left, so probably yet another $70. It's crazy what. And then when I go to estate sales, I love trying to go through these old closets, and everybody always overlooks the pantyhose. I'm definitely grabbing those. These I think are probably selling a little bit slower just because they are smaller sizes and not any large, extra large, super size, or whatever you want to call them. Go for well. This is the last pack of the Topps cards that I have from 1992. We are at 0, so $14.24 for that piece to be gone. Haven't sold a vinyl record in a couple weeks. This is from my vinyl buy from a couple years ago, where I think I paid $100 for the entire lot. And this particular one, Chrome Tech, sold for $11.46. If you guys aren't aware of that story, down the street from me, there's a guy that has a yard sale. He also sells at the flea market sometimes, but he goes and he buys out pallets from the post office of undeliverable mail, and he hosts a big yard sale once a year, I guess. And so I went down there, and there was a big old stack of records. I was already digging through a bunch of other stuff, and this other guy's all like, "Oh, how much you want for these records?" And I'm like, "Oh crap, I missed out on records. I'm gonna go over there." And he's like, "Oh, I want to buy them all. How much for all of them?" And then the guy's all like, "Oh, I don't know." He's like, "I need like $100 for all of them." And there was probably 100 records. So that's like $1 a record. And then the guy's all hemming and hawing and trying to talk him down on the price. And I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm going to buy these." I'm looking at all of it. It's all like punk and hard rock, heavy metal records, obscure stuff like this, and I'm like, I want to buy these, but I don't want to be that jerk that's like trying to undercut another guy. But I was like, oh, $100, I'm like whipping out. I wanted to hand it to him. And the guy hemmed and hawed, and he's all like, he picked out like 3 records and just like, well, how much just for these 3? And then I guess he gave him a price of like $2 or $3 a record for those 3 records. And as soon as he walked away, I was like, I'll take them all, and then handed him the money, and the guy got mad. I'm like, he had the opportunity to buy the entire stack, and he just pulled out 3 and then walked away. And I said, I will take. I didn't even look at him. I was seeing as he was going through them. I don't know if he noticed me looking through them as he was going through them or not, but as soon as he stepped away and says, I only want these 3 records, I told him I'm taking the entire stack. I found a $400 record in that stack, and it sold within 3 months. It was insane. Probably one of my best finds. I listed all the other records, and I still probably have about 10 or 15 left out there. I just guess they haven't gotten to the right price point. Like this one finally got to the right price point for somebody to go ahead and buy it. Well, that's some of the fun stuff that gives me a little bit of joy, I guess, in this business, is finding great deals like that. Firepower, this is a board game. I paid $1 at the flea market from a guy that goes to the same auctions I go to. This was probably at an auction that I didn't get to go to. I would have bought this at the auction, and I probably would have paid $5 for it, but what he does is he's like, after everything gets auctioned off, then they'll sell everything on the table for one money, and that's all he does is he buys the tables clears them off, and then takes everything to the flea market and asks $1 for it. So it is sold for $24.99 for me, and it's only been listed for like maybe 2 months. It's an Avalon Hill board game called Firepower. Not a very common one, but there's several of them listed, so it's not very popular, I guess. This is a weird piece. It's like a resin statue of a chick and a motorcycle. The styrofoam box is rough. It is sold for $40.99. Oh, would you look at that? Another Linux piece just sold as we're filming this. Which I think it's sitting right behind me. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that and add that to the video here. This is a Toy Story Vinylmation figurine. This one's kind of a rarity because it comes from Tokyo Disney Resort. So this is not one that was in most parks. And it is, looks like they only made 4 figurines in this series. So they look like they're just like crayon drawings of the figures. That sold originally for $12.95. I bought it as a whole out of a whole collection, but that one figurine sold for $21.86. And let me refresh. Excuse me. Felt that coming from a mile away. And another fun piece just sold. So I'll show that so I can get this out to door today as well. This just sold 2 minutes ago for $19.99. This is The Princess and the Pea. It is Linux. And funny thing, Jen was going through some Linux stuff the other day. Or she was going through a tote of some stuff that we ran at the auction and found a piece of Linux. So it was like, we listed all this Linux recently. So she's like, oh, we probably should have listed it online. So she pulled it out of our auction bin to put online. She says it goes for like $25 to $40. So I'll be listing that probably tonight or tomorrow. So that is everything we got going out for just, I guess, over $725 now. So keep hustling, everyone.